Oh, what the hell just happened? I sat down to watch a movie and now this. Ow! Ugh. Batman? Why the hell did you do that for? You've been reviewing the same movie over and over again for over a week, you spiky-haired idiot. Oh, well, it's a good thing you stopped me. Oh yeah, about that, you're supposed to do another episode right now. Oh man, but I feel so tired, like I haven't slept for a week. Oh yeah. Just do another one of those top 10 episodes where you just sit there and talk, as opposed to wrecking DVDs or dancing around like a moron. Hey, I'm a sexy dancer, dancing for money. Whatever, get to work, dirtbag. And change your clothes, you smell like man-ass. I'm Batman. In a world of uncertainty, where movie theaters are plagued by remakes and sequels, in a world where big-budget movies can still suck, in this world we have the Blockbuster Buster. Greetings fanboys and fangirls, I'm ERod and I'm the Blockbuster Buster. Approximately a year ago I did my first top 10 episode, in which I counted down the top 10 crossover battles of our generation. Fortunately, the episode did well enough to allow me to do more top 10 episodes, so to celebrate this pseudo anniversary, I'm counting down the top 10 crossover battles we want to see. Number 10! Transformers vs. GoBots. Oddly enough, the Transformers have had crossovers with everyone from G.I. Joe to the Avengers, but they have never crossed over with their Kmart counterparts. And yes, I think it's fairly obvious, even if you don't watch either show, that the Transformers would mop the floor with the GoBots. But it would be an awesome battle, and I think the GoBots being the underdogs would actually help them garner a stronger fan base. Whether it's a comic, cartoon, or a movie, I don't care. It would be an awesome fight. Even if they didn't fight, I still wonder what it would be like if the Transformers met the GoBots.
It's me, Leader One, from the Challenge of the GoBots. Remember?
Challenge of the GoBots? Never even heard of that. What's that, one of those gay dance shows?
Alas, a man can only dream. Hey, what's that? Wait a minute. I don't have time for mail. I'm in the middle of an episode. Number 9! Ghostbusters vs. Ghostbusters. Now I know there are a lot of harsh fanboys out there that like to refer to Jake, Tracy, and Eddie as the fake Ghostbusters. So here's a quick history lesson. These Ghostbusters came first, in the form of a live-action camp comedy show starring Forrest Tucker and Larry Storch. Later, when Dan Aykroyd was developing his version of the Ghostbusters, everyone liked the script but they hated his title ideas. So they purchased the rights to the title and nothing else. Once the film was released and the Ghostbusters became a hit, cartoon mogul Lou Scheimer decided to capitalize on this newfound popularity and produce a cartoon based on the originals. Oddly enough, a cartoon based on the movie version was being produced simultaneously, so in order to differentiate themselves, they retitled the show The Real Ghostbusters. Now I know a lot of you out there think that the Filmation Ghostbusters are a bunch of idiots and that the real Ghostbusters would own this one. But I still think the trio's pretty formidable, as their weapons are powered by magic, and it would be awesome to see an epic battle between magic and science to finally decide which team is worthy of calling themselves the Ghostbusters. Plus, the originals have something that their celluloid counterpart never had. A talking car that changes into a plane. I'm sorry, but that trumps the Ecto-1 any day. This one I would definitely want to see as a cartoon, like those straight-to-DVD one-shots DC and Marvel have been releasing. Plus, it would work as a great promotional vehicle for the upcoming Ghostbusters 3 movie. Admittedly, I am a bigger fan of the Dan Aykroyd Ivan Reitman films. In fact, meeting Ernie Hudson, Harold Ramis, Bill Murray, and Dan Aykroyd is definitely on my bucket list. And I know exactly what I would do if I were to meet any of them.
Hurry, hurry, he's on the ceiling. Come get him. Oh,
light him up, Ray! See you on the other side, Pete.
Oh, he's so...
Hell yeah. In fact, I can only think of one fantasy that's better than that one. And that would be the best day ever. Number 8! RoboCop versus Terminator. Yes, I know, there's already a comic book in which these two cybernetic warriors meet. But I think these iconic machines deserve the Alien vs. Predator treatment. And I know what you're thinking. Wouldn't a goofy crossover hurt the Terminator franchise? No more than these two pieces of garbage! Now, who would I be rooting for in this epic machine brawl? Well, as much as I love the Terminators, I'd still be going for Robo. Because... he's part policeman and he's part machine. Toughest cop you've ever seen. When fighting crime, he comes out on top. Because he's RoboCop. Number 7. Wonder Woman versus Xena. These are two characters that sit at two very pivotal moments in the history of the female action hero on television. Wonder Woman got the party started in the 70s, but somewhere in the 80s and early 90s, the heroine faded away until Xena jump-started the concept all over again. And it is only now that it has become common ground to find the heroine in the front lines right beside her male counterparts. These two have the perfect backdrop to meet. After all, they're both from Greek mythology. So I don't know, due to some mystical MacGuffin, Wonder Woman can go back in time and meet Xena, or vice versa. For this one, I think a nice comic book crossover would suffice. On a side note, did you know that Lucy Lawless, the actress that played Xena, played Wonder Woman in Justice League New Frontier? So I know she would love a story where the two characters meet.
Oh no, this script's good.
Alright, let's move on. Number 6! The Megazord versus Voltron. Now this is one instance where I wouldn't care how the Power Rangers ran into the Voltron force. All I want to see is the two robots duking it out. Now a short animated special would probably be the best bet. But if they did this live action, I definitely want the bots to be computer animated. What I don't want to see is two guys in suits. Let's just move on. Number 5. Godzilla versus Gamera. Now here's a question I've always asked. Why hasn't this happened yet? The King of the Monsters needs no introduction. But for those of you who don't know, Gamera is a giant radioactive turtle that shoots turbine fire out of its shell and is beloved by little Japanese children in blue shorts the world over. A battle between these two would be an epic brawl that would put every previous Monster Mash to shame. Even though I am a bigger Godzilla fan, I wouldn't be upset if Gamera won, cause he's awesome. And yes, I know I just got finished bitching about guys in giant creature suits, but Toho has turned the Monster Brawl into a fine art. They are the Pixars of this genre. And when anyone else tries to do a live-action monster brawl, they just look like chumps. Now that would be a short crossover. Number 4. Arnold Schwarzenegger versus Sylvester Stallone. They are still the two biggest action stars in film history, and as awesome as it was to see them together in The Expendables, I still want to see them go at it 80s style. Big guns, big explosions. Now with Arnie getting back into showbiz, it might just be possible, but they would both have to agree to it.
It's his fucking problem. He wants to be president.
Let's dance.
Number 3. The classic Universal movie monsters versus the modern movie maniacs. Now, even though the classic movie monsters make a comeback every few years, during the 80s they were pushed to near obscurity by the new horror icons. And I think it's about time they settled the score. Now I know this would be a mess of red tape and it would be impossible to pull off, but I still want to see it! Hell, I wouldn't care if it was a cartoon, a comic, or a movie. This would rock hard, as it would be a straight up villains battle. Meaning that after the two sides are done fighting, they're not gonna shake hands and team up. No, these guys will fight to the last man. Personally, I think Freddy and Dracula would be the last two standing, as they are the two most devious manipulators of the group. And even before they fought, it would just be awesome to hear them taunt one another.
He's big, he's dumb, he's slow, he's stupid, and he ain't got no style!
What a simpleton.
Not slide, so choose. Your weapon don't slip. Vanilla's in the
Number 2! Street Fighter versus Mortal Kombat. Yes, Mortal Kombat vs. DC is good and Marvel vs. Capcom is great, but frankly, I don't give a crap about a bunch of fighting game characters meeting a bunch of random comic book characters. It feels almost as random as Archie meeting the Punisher, which incidentally is a great comic book. But what I really want to see is Guile vs. Sub-Zero, Chun-Li vs. Sonya, Bison vs. Shao Kahn, but more importantly, Ryu vs. Scorpion. Now that would be awesome, but the best part about it is that because it would be a video game, you could choose which character would fight which, or the outcome of every fight. Toasty!
Destroy them all!
Number 1! Okay, I think everybody knows what number 1 is, so come on, say it with me, you know you want to. Star Trek versus Star Wars, bitches. Now I know I already said this, but why hasn't this happened? These are the two biggest franchises in all of fandom. Not to mention they both take place in space. They are practically prepped for a crossover. The Rebel Alliance versus the Federation, the Borg versus the Sith, Troopers versus Red Shirts, the Empire versus the Empire. Huh. It blows my mind that these two worlds haven't collided yet. Sadly, the only thing close to resembling such a crossover is a scene in the movie Fanboys where the Star Wars fans provoke a bunch of Trekkies.
Trekkie is derogatory at this point in the game. Trekker is what we're called now. Trekker.
Oh, I'm sorry. Trekkie.
Han Solo's a bitch.
Those are fighting words where I'm from.
Attack, you cowards! That's an order!
Personally, I think it's bullshit that anyone would come up with a derogatory term in relation to a show that promotes peace and equality, made even more ridiculous by the fact that Gene Roddenberry was the one that came up with the term Trekkie. Incidentally, I think Star Wars fans should call themselves warheads, just throwing that out there. So, the burning question. Which side would I be on? If you would have asked me this question 10 years ago, I would have said Star Wars without hesitation, as the 3 original films are among my all-time favorite movies, in spite of the Ewoks. But recently I have started to lean more towards the Trek side of things due to J.J. Abrams' awesome revamp and the emergence of the First. Oh, your days are numbered. So whether it's a cartoon, a comic book, or Christmas special, I don't care. This crossover needs to happen. For now, we're just gonna have to be content with listening to fanboys argue in comic book shops and sci-fi conventions.
Get the hell off of our land! Get the hell out of here! Now! Out of here, you Kirk-loving Spock suckers!
Star Wars geek.
So those are the top 10 crossover battles that we want to see. If you can think of any more, be sure to write them in the comments section. I don't care if they are characters that should actually meet or something completely insane like the Tick meets Popeye. I don't care, go nuts, as I will be picking my favorite ones and I will list them off at the end of my next top 10 episode. Next week is Back to Basics. I'm ERod and I'm the... Wait a minute, I almost forgot! I've got mail! Check out my website, suckers!